I accidentally sent my cross-dressing photos to the dorm group chat. When I tried to withdraw them, the download count showed 1. To figure out who saw them, I deliberately threw a skirt onto the dorm floor to observe reactions. 2 roommates joked about me having a girlfriend, while the aloof one named Alex simply picked it up and handed it to me, commenting I liked those fishnets. During gaming later, Derek reminded me to send our group project files to the chat. Distracted, I hastily uploaded what I thought was the assignment. Realizing my mistake seconds later, I nearly fell off my chair. I'd actually sent the folder containing my feminine outfits and lingerie photos. My blood ran cold when I saw the dreaded 1 download notification. With trembling hands, I deleted the file and re-uploaded the real assignment, shaking like I had Parkinson's. The mirror showed my ashen face. I looked like someone attending their own funeral. Those photos showed me with light makeup, fishnet stockings, and wigs. Anyone who knew me would recognize me instantly. Cross-dressing had been my private escape, my only solace in this bleak existence. Now 1 roommate held my secret. Was it Derek who'd been waiting for the file? I messaged him privately, heart pounding, "Did you check the group project I sent?" His delayed reply came, "Just got back from a meeting with the advisor. Checking now, I'll submit it soon." I exhaled in temporary relief. But the mystery remained. Would the downloader expose me? Blackmail me? Use this to humiliate me publicly? Cold sweat drenched my shirt as I bit my lip raw. I needed to identify the culprit through bribes, threats, or literal begging if necessary. My entire future depended on containing this secret. All right, let me check. No, Derek wasn't the one. I immediately went to ask another roommate, Ethan. "Hey Ethan, you there?" He took forever to reply. "Was gaming, just finished an hour-long marathon match. Fucking finally won by backdooring their tower last second." "Oh, what's up, dude? Need me to grab your package?" "Never mind. Go back to your game." My smile grew a bit brighter. Ethan had been mid-game. He never checks messages while gaming, so he's cleared too. That left only Alex Troy. Alex was the campus's infamous ice prince, all sharp cheekbones and quiet intensity. His genetically blessed face had recently been voted 2nd hottest in the university district. First place went to our bald president, surprisingly. But that's beside the point. We all tiptoed around Alex in the dorm. Our interactions stayed at polite nods or occasional group dinners where he'd grace us with his presence. Now he'd become the prime suspect who'd seen my cross-dressing photos. My brief relief evaporated. Clutching my phone, I mentally prepared myself before opening our chat. Just then, the dorm door creaked open. I turned to see Alex walking in. Black windbreaker collar turned up to cover part of his jaw against the autumn chill. He glanced at me wordlessly, heading toward his desk. Gathering courage, I approached. "Alex, I need to ask you something." "What?" I swallowed hard. "Did you happen to see?" My voice died mid-sentence. Alex was pulling a black phone from between textbook pages. He unlocked it, casually scrolling through notifications. When I fell silent, those dark eyes lifted. "You didn't have your phone earlier?" "Forgot it." "What did you need?" My face lit up like I'd won the lottery. "Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Carry on." I practically skipped back to my desk, euphoric, until reality crashed down. Wait, if all 3 roommates were cleared, then who the hell downloaded those photos? Someone's lying. I slumped back into a funk, forehead pressed against the desk as I miserably choked back a sob. What the hell does this guy want? He knows my secret about wearing skirts but won't admit it. Is he really trying to blackmail me? My distressed vibes must have disturbed Alex. I felt his gaze flicker toward me several times, those intense eyes burning holes in my peripheral vision. Sniffling, I rubbed my reddened eyes and forced myself upright. That no, I needed to catch this bastard. The plan formed instantly: public confrontation. When Derek and Ethan returned to our dorm, I accidentally dropped my hidden skirt on the floor. Criminals often revisit their crime scenes, right? Maybe our culprit would slip up. I monitored all 3 roommates through hooded eyelids. Ethan paused mid-stride after finishing his gaming session, staring at the frilly fabric. "Who's getting laid?" he crowed. "Dude bought his girl lingerie?" Derek's head whipped around. "Seriously? Whoever scored owes us steak dinners?" They spent 5 minutes making lewd jokes about the imaginary girlfriend's measurements while carefully avoiding touching the evidence. Alex remained motionless at his desk, phone conspicuously absent. Least suspicious candidate. Naturally, both idiots turned to me. James? Derek elbowed me. Since when you dating some thick queen? Hook me up with her. Friends? Fuck you, me first. Ethan shoved him. I forced a laugh, studying their reactions. Textbook frat boy behavior, exactly how clueless straight guys would act. The moment they left for takeout, I moved to retrieve the skirt. Alex moved faster. His long fingers scooped up the garment, those pianist hands extending it toward me with terrifying calm. This suits you, he said. Icy detachment belying the electric tension crackling between us. But I preferred the black stockings. Blood roared in my ears as his words detonated. It had always been him. My voice trembled like autumn leaves. Alex, did you see the photos? Alex looked at my pale face, his brow furrowing slightly. Well, I didn't have my phone that day, but I saw them when I logged in on my computer. So what? My hands clenched tightly as I stared at him fearfully. So what do you want? I'll do anything if you keep quiet. Please. Alex's frown deepened. He suddenly stepped back and spoke in an unexpectedly gentle tone. James, I won't tell anyone. Also, you look good in them. Really. Don't worry about it. Just be yourself. He draped the skirt over my chair and returned to his seat. I stood frozen, blinking in disbelief. Was Alex really letting this go? Yet my anxiety grew. How could someone show kindness without wanting something in return? There had to be an ulterior motive. I never believed in kindness without strings attached. I needed to plead with him again, but night fell without me figuring out how. Instead, I dreamed of my parents. My father used to be the big shot in our neighborhood during his prosperous days. But after losing everything in bad investments and accumulating debt, he became a broken man, gambling, drinking, lashing out at my mother. Our neighbors in the apartment complex stopped intervening long ago. I remember my beautiful, fragile mother soothing me to sleep with fresh bruises, then leaving before dawn for menial jobs. That night, after another beating, when she lay gasping like a dying fish, I whispered, "Just go, Mom. I'll be okay." She held me weeping until sunrise, then walked away forever. Of course, Dad raged. Without his punching bag, I became the new target. From childhood until high school graduation, his snarling face haunted my nightmares. "You look just like that whore," he'd roar before swinging his belt. "Can't stand the sight of you." The years of abuse left me with physical scars and broken social skills. No friends dared approach the weird kid. My only solace came from secretly wearing Mom's old clothes, the soft fabric somehow easing the constant pressure in my chest. After getting scholarships, I spent every spare cent on thrift store dresses, carefully hidden from Dad's drunken rampages. The day I left for college with that scholarship letter felt like escaping prison. Yet here I stood years later, trembling before Alex, that damn skirt burning like evidence between us. Old fears choked me. When would the other shoe drop? What price would he demand? The fluorescent lights hummed. Alex's computer screen glowed across the room. Somewhere, a clock ticked toward whatever came next. However, cross-dressing became my deeply ingrained hobby. I always thought this secret would remain undiscovered, but now Alexander Troy knew. I decided to actively approach Alex. If I could please him, maybe he'd soften and keep my secret. I began waking up early daily to buy him breakfast, fetching hot water, doing his laundry and picking up packages. The moment he returned, I'd jump up to greet him, terrified of seeming neglectful. Derek and our other roommate couldn't comprehend my behavior, thinking I'd offended Alex. "James, just apologize if you messed up. Don't degrade yourself like this." "Yeah, bro. I'll talk to him for you." I shook my head, touched yet bitter, stopping them, turning back to my mission of appeasing Alex. He'd always frowned during my efforts, making my heart race. One day, he suddenly gripped my hands holding his dirty clothes, expression stormy. "James, what are you really afraid of?" I ventured timidly. "If I keep doing your laundry, could you not tell anyone about the cross-dressing? Please?" "I never planned to." He sighed, exasperated. "First, I'm not that kind of person. Second, He broke off abruptly. His suddenly shadowed gaze made me panic. Desperately clutching his sleeve, I gambled, "Alex, I'll show you. My cross-dressing. Just don't tell anyone." Maybe satisfying his curiosity would kill his interest. The athlete stared at me with unreadable dark eyes for what seemed an eternity. When I nearly bit through my lip, he finally spoke. "Deal." I led Alex to a budget hotel near campus. The hallway reeked of cheap disinfectant, walls speckled with mold. My eyelid twitched seeing his limited edition sneakers step in a suspicious puddle. Should have splurged on a nicer place. Yet Alex showed no reaction, following me into the cramped room without complaint. Hugging my bag, I mumbled, "Wait here. I'll change in the bathroom." Avoiding his gaze, I rushed into the tiny restroom. Tonight's outfit was Alex's favorite skirt set with black stockings. Staring at my unfamiliar reflection, I inhaled shakily. When I finally emerged, Alex sat rigidly on the stained couch. His detached expression dissolved as I approached, eyes darkening, gaze traveling from my ankles up my trembling legs, lingering at my waist before settling on my flushed face. "Okay," I stood before him with a burning face. Just as I agonized over how to bring up the secrecy matter again, my gaze accidentally dropped to Alex's crotch. I froze, then stared in shock. He wasn't as composed as he pretended to be. A wild thought suddenly struck me. If Alex reacted to my cross-dressing, didn't that mean he was gay? This discovery thrilled me. He held my cross-dressing secret, and now I held his sexual orientation. Mutual blackmail. Gathering courage, I pointed at his groin. "Alex, you like guys, right? I won't out you if you keep my secret. Mutual benefit." My eyes stayed glued to him, terrified he might choose mutual destruction. After an eerily long pause, Alex nodded calmly, showing no panic at being exposed. "Deal." Only then did I exhale in relief, days of anxiety finally lifting. Walking back to campus after changing, I kept sneaking glances at him. Why would this campus heartthrob with everything going for him prefer guys? Yet this bizarre preference made him feel oddly relatable. We were both deviants, kindred spirits. The loneliness I'd been nursing made me drift closer until my forehead pressed against his shoulder blade, seeking warmth. I didn't see Alex's faint smile as I hid my face. Unconsciously, I started observing Alex more. The contradiction tortured me, fearing yet craving his company. Then inspiration struck. If we became close friends, maybe he'd never expose me. Peaceful coexistence. Cautiously, I began bridging the distance. First step, buying friendship with food. Gritting my teeth, I blew half my monthly allowance, treating the whole dorm to dinner. At the table, I nervously proposed a toast to Alex. One drink and I was out. The last thing I remembered was Alex carrying me piggyback through campus gates. A drunken hiccup escaped as hot tears soaked his shirt. "Ooh, Alex, I'm trouble, don't hate me." His grip tightened, voice uncharacteristically soft. "James, you're not trouble. I could never hate you." "Really?" My alcohol-slurred words muffled against his neck. "Really? But why?" I persisted, face still buried. The night breeze carried his answer as we passed under streetlights. "Why indeed?" He seemed to say something, but the sudden gust of wind scattered his words. The alcohol rushed straight to my head from the cold air, and soon I lost consciousness, slumped against his back. When I woke up, my memory had completely blacked out. I only learned from Derek that Alex had carried me back to the dorm. I froze momentarily before smiling in quiet delight. This incident made me think we'd grown closer. The whole cross-dressing mess would fade away, and Alex and I would return to our easygoing roommate dynamic. But fate had other plans. Returning from class that afternoon, I spotted shady characters loitering near the male dorm, tattooed men with vulgar mouths, their presence making students veer wide. I tried to detour until recognition turned my blood to ice. They were my father's loan sharks. How'd they find my campus? I spun around too late. A bald thug spotted me, charging with a roar. "Trap." I faced his sneering grin. "Look who's here. James, the college hotshot now." His booming voice drew curious stares from passing classmates. My throat tightened. "My father's debts aren't mine. Go bother him." The bald man barked laughter. "Daddy dearest says you're rolling in cash these days, $30,000. He eyed my worn sneakers contemptuously. "No money? Then we'll take payment another way." His yellowed teeth showed in a leer. "Nightclubs pay top dollar for pretty boys like you. Those sugar daddies would eat you up, easy cash to settle debts." Fury coiled in my fists until a cool voice cut through. "How much does he owe?" Alex appeared behind me, removing his headphones. Without blinking, he transferred over $30,000 from his phone. The loan sharks left grinning, though the bald one lingered to mock. "Should have said you had a sugar daddy already, pretty boy." I stood paralyzed as Alex walked past, his expression unreadable. The transaction receipt burned in my vision, payment labeled Troy Family Trust Fund. My knees nearly buckled. He'd just liquidated stock shares to bail me out. My face was deathly pale. Alex lifted his gaze. His expression frosty. Take the money and get lost. The bald man arched his eyebrow, ready to explode, but seemed to reconsider upon realizing someone who could casually produce tens of thousands must come from significant wealth. He forced an ingratiating chuckle before turning to me with yellowed teeth. James, you know where to find me next time you need help. After they left, I stared at the floor, too ashamed to meet Alex's assessing look. Thank you, Alex. I'll pay back every cent. I swear. My voice trembled with humiliated gratitude, shoulders hunched in that familiar groveling posture. Just when our relationship had started improving, I'd shackled myself with debt to him. Alex responded with characteristic calm. James, look at me. Reluctantly meeting his steady gaze, I found unexpected reassurance in those deep-set eyes. This was my choice. Consider it settled. I nearly cried from relief, yet couldn't stomach the idea of accepting charity. Within days, I juggled 2 new part-time jobs alongside classes, leaving my dorm before dawn and returning after curfew. The dorm supervisor scolded me nightly about slamming doors, forcing me to sprint the last 100 yards like some shameful criminal. Where do you keep disappearing to? Alex demanded one evening. I mumbled excuses about study groups, too proud to admit I was scrubbing toilets at the football stadium. By week's end, exhaustion turned my bones to lead. Dark thoughts crept in during 4 a.m. bus rides. What was the point of scholarships and honor rolls when I couldn't even afford ramen? My downward spiral didn't escape notice. Alex's jaw grew tighter each time he saw me nodding off in lectures. Then came the morning he intercepted me sneaking out at sunrise. Call in sick, he ordered, blocking the doorway. I can't risk losing this shift, I protested weakly. Without another word, he steered me into a taxi headed for Mount Davidson. Tourists clustered at the summit overlook, but Alex led me to a secluded outcrop. The first golden rays illuminated the Bay Bridge as he kept his arm firmly around my shoulders. Alex, why are we watching sunrise? I finally dared ask. Because, he said simply, you needed to remember what light looks like. The unspoken words hung between us that he'd make damn sure I stopped drowning in darkness alone. I have no idea why he suddenly felt inspired, but since I was already late for my part-time job anyway, I figured I might as well relax. I found myself talking cautiously with Alex as dawn broke over the horizon, its golden rays piercing through the gloom to bathe both the earth and my hollowed-out soul. Breathing became difficult as I realized this marked the first sunrise I'd truly witnessed in years. A lifetime spent cowering in darkness and isolation had robbed me of appreciating such beauty. The unexpected surge of hope warming my chest felt foreign yet exhilarating. Alex, this impossibly perfect prince among men, had somehow ignited it. Absurd, yet undeniable. James, he said, sunlight gilding his profile. The light will always find you. You're meant for happiness. When I turned, his lowered gaze met mine. My pulse became thunderous, heart swelling with iridescent soap bubbles that burst one after another. He was trying to save me. Actually trying. God, he was magnificent. So magnificent it rewired my DNA, made this attraction feel inevitable. I stole glances at his razor-sharp jawline, the arrogant slope of his nose, features I'd always admired from afar with envious respect now sparking entirely different impulses. Using the crowd on the observation deck as cover, I inched closer. Did he treat everyone this way? Or could he possibly? My vibrating phone shattered the moment. James. The shrill voice of our tenement neighbor pierced my ear. Your damn pipes flooded my apartment 2 days ago. It's Niagara Falls over here while your gambling addict father's MIA. Get home and fix this now. Apologizing to Alex, I declined his offer to drive me. Watched his taxi disappear with fading smile. Home. The word curdled in my mouth. Just approaching that crumbling tenement resurrected the stench of mildew and childhood screams. Even if Alex wanted me, what could I possibly offer? 3 bus transfers later, I stood before the building that reeked of urine and broken promises. Maybe if I moved fast enough, repaired the pipes before Dad returned. Mrs. Kalski from 3B had smuggled me dumplings during my worst beatings. I owed her this much. The stairwell's flickering bulb welcomed me like a dying heartbeat. Wrench in hand, I began the familiar dance of damage control. The house was a chaotic mess reeking of alcohol. Scuff marks from the baseball bat he'd used to beat me still marred the walls. I averted my eyes and hurriedly called a plumber. After fixing the pipes, I grabbed some old clothes to leave but collided with my father in the doorway. His bloodshot eyes lit up when he saw my pale face. "James. Perfect timing," he slurred, reeking of cheap whiskey. "That rich classmate of yours paid off my last debt. Let's hit him up again?" "Yeah." My stomach churned. "How much this time?" He kicked an empty bottle. Glass shards skittering across cracked linoleum. Damn card sharks rigged the game. Should have won big, but he trailed off, avoiding my gaze. "Just $1 million. Pocket change for the Troy Air. Right? $1 million? My vision swam. I should have never let Alex Troy bail us out before. It only made Dad greedier. "Come on, James." He gripped my shoulder too tight. Yellowed teeth bared. "You'll ask him." Unless his grip turned vicious, breath hot against my ear. "Or maybe I'll tell everyone how my pretty boy parades around in lace panties. That'd make great campus gossip." The floor seemed to tilt. He knew. He'd always known about the secret I kept buried since 14. A thunderous crash shook the apartment. The door flew open. Hinges screaming protest. Alex Troy stood framed in sunlight. School blazer sleeves rolled to expose corded forearms. "James," he commanded. Winter gray eyes locked on me. "No." I don't know what threats the Troy Air whispered to make my hulking father back down. One moment Dad was roaring like a caged bear. The next he was practically bowing as Alex strode out. "Let's go." Alex's hand burned through my threadbare shirt as he steered me past crumbling tenements. When I finally dared ask why he'd followed, he shrugged. "Saw you panic calling the plumber. Figured your old man might pull the shit again." We passed a liquor store mirror. Our reflection stared back, Alex's athlete build towering over my malnourished frame, his golden tan against my pallor. My knuckles whitened around the thrift store bag holding my hidden skirts. "You shouldn't have gotten involved." His grip tightened. Too late. The subway rumbled beneath our feet as he hailed a cab with that effortless authority. "Dorm's empty tonight. You're staying with me." I blurted out anxiously. "Did you give him that $1 million? Don't. He'll keep asking for more." Alex stopped in his tracks. "James, your father won't bother you anymore." "What?" He mumbled an explanation. "Use some unconventional methods. Like threatening to report his gambling rings if he contacts you again." I blinked in confusion. Doubts surfacing. "That's enough to control my dad?" Alex cut through my bewilderment. "He's terrified. You're never going back. I'll get you a separate household registration. Your belongings will be moved out." And the usually aloof boy kept outlining plans for my future until my chest tightened with emotion. "Alex," he answered softly. "Do you pity me?" "No. I'm in love with you." His eyelids lifted, warmth spilling from those typically icy eyes. "Haven't I made that obvious enough?" Alex confessed he'd noticed me since freshman move-in day. While other students had parents fussing over dorm setups, even his CEO mother had personally made his bed ID bin alone. That faded t-shirt and oversized jeans. Neatly arranging my few possessions like a stray kitten watching happy families through shelter glass. Fragile. Beautiful. Made even my steel-hearted mom demand I look after you. His lips quirked. "She said that poor boy'll get eaten alive here." He'd complied at first. Discreet acts of kindness. But then, helping you became addictive. Wanted to give more. Knew it meant feelings. But you kept repaying every favor. How's a guy supposed to court someone that stubborn? My face burned. "I'm sore." Alex ruffled my hair. Hailing a cab. As the taxi stopped, he murmured, "If you're truly sorry, let me finally chase you properly." "Because James?" His smile could have powered city lights. "I've been yours since that first laundry day you forgot quarters." True to word, Alex launched the most shameless courtship. No more my timid overtures, this was full daylight romance. Bouquets appearing at my part-time job. His leather jacket thrown over my shoulders during rainstorms. That infuriating smirk when I try to protest. The campus buzzed. Ice Prince Alex? Running across quadrants to open doors for some scholarship student? Yet his eyes held none of their usual frost when whispering, "Take the care, James. I've waited years to spoil you." My heart races every day from his flirting, sweet yet assertive. When he found out I still needed part-time jobs to repay him, he didn't object. Instead, he started picking me up after work whenever free. If I skipped breakfast to save money, He'd bring me affordable yet delicious meals. When my shoes fell apart, he bought me reasonably priced replacements. Most importantly, he gifts me pretty dresses, thoughtful gestures that warm my heart without making me feel indebted. Derek and others noticed something was up. James? They asked awkwardly. What's going on between you two? I hesitated, unsure how to explain. Alex likes me. I like him. I'd planned to accept when he confessed again, but he never verbalized it, just kept pursuing me through actions. This sweet torture left me both thrilled and anxious, fearing this might just be his temporary whim. The turning point came when a male classmate confessed to me. Yes, Mel. This clean-cut senior from my major had often helped me. Never imagined he was gay too. Guess the world's becoming more open. He cornered me near the dorm when few were around, but panic surged through me. This was exactly when Alex usually returned from basketball practice. James, are you listening? The senior's earnest voice snapped me back. I forced a smile. Go ahead. He smiled softly. I never thought I'd meet someone right. But then there's you. James, could you give me a chance? Senior, we're not compatible. I tactfully declined. His eyebrows shot up. Did I misread you? Are you straight? But you and Alex are practically glued together daily. Blushing, I opened my mouth to explain when an arm draped over my shoulders. The scent of fresh sweat and his signature cologne hit me first. My ears burned crimson. Senior. Alex's calm voice cut through. Know what that glued together means? Means you'll get wedding invitations when we marry. My mind blanked. The senior froze momentarily before nodding understandingly. My mistake. He left gracefully. Relief flooded me. Then embarrassment. Turning to question Alex about this marriage nonsense. I froze again. The boy beside me wore a stormy expression. Eyes glinting with primal possessiveness like a territorial beast. But I wasn't scared at all, just deeply embarrassed. Alex, what does marriage mean? I like you. I want to date you. Then get married abroad. My parents already agreed. I just don't know if you'll give me this chance. His candid words left me breathless, then melted my heart completely. He was serious. He'd planned our entire future together. I threw myself into his arms. I'll give you that chance. Thank you. Thank you for wanting to save me. James and Alex started dating. Soon after, we learned my father had been arrested. Apparently he'd gotten violent during a gambling debt dispute, killing one person and severely injuring another with a chair. He didn't make it far before getting caught. The victims' families refused all plea deals. When my father begged me from jail to rescue him, I ignored it. 6 months later, he received the death penalty, permanent freedom from his harassment. The day I heard the news, I happily bought a new little dress. Alex immediately dragged me to a hotel to inspect it thoroughly. The dress was inevitably ruined on the spot. I kicked him through my tears until he rasped promises to buy me 10 replacements. Months later, he picked me up from my part-time job as usual. Smiling mischievously at the deserted street, I slipped my hand into his. As I chattered about my workday adventures, he listened with endless patience. Suddenly I froze mid-step, smile shattering. There she was, the woman I'd spent childhood nights imagining might return. Neatly dressed, being tenderly fussed over by a middle-aged man. A picture of marital bliss. What's wrong? Alex followed my gaze, but the couple had already vanished around the corner. I leaned into him as my eyes burned. Alex, I just saw my mother. She's been happy all these years. Letting her leave was the right choice. He opened his mouth, struggling for words, but simply tightened his grip on my hand. James, I sniffled, then grinned through wet lashes. I actually wanted to go with her back then. But she could barely feed herself. How could she raise me? Doesn't matter now. I'm happy. I have you. Alex's dark eyes softened with overflowing tenderness. He bent to kiss me gently. Damn right you do. I tilted my face up obediently, savoring his warmth. How wonderful. Alex possessed the brightest love. And I had him.